What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. I am Dat Dude, and NFL football has been great so far, and it's been great to us so far. Week 3 coming right at you. A lot to get into with this video. We're going to talk about games of the week, a sketchy play of the week. I'll give you my underdog of the week, and then I will give you my official plays of the week. You do not want to miss them, so be sure to stick around. And if you have been following along, we have been doing pretty good. After week 1, we were 2-1, and then after this past week, we were 4-1. So we are 6-2 on the year, and we just missed out going 5-0 this past weekend. We had the Bears -2.5, and they kicked the last-second field goal to win by 2. So unfortunately, we missed that by half a point. But we have been rolling the 3 underdog winners that I gave you last week: the Bills, Seahawks, and Colts. They all won, all cashed out. So let's keep up the trend. Let's keep it going, and let's jump right in to the video. So to start off, let's look at our games of the week. Ravens at the Chiefs. This is going to be a very fun game to watch. Every single game that Pat Mahomes plays in should be a primetime game. It's kind of depressing that that game is not going to be on like national television. It should be a Monday night game, Sunday night game, something. It shouldn't be a noon game on a Sunday afternoon. The other games that I think are going to be really good games: the Texans at the Chargers. These guys, both of these teams, their records may not look that great right now, but two really good teams that probably will be there in the long run this season. They both had a couple tough losses, and I feel this is going to be a really good game to watch. Another game that I think is going to be a really good game is the Rams at the Browns. The Rams have been super hot so far, just beat the Saints coming off a Drew Brees injury. So we really didn't get the game we wanted from that. And I think this Browns team is kind of finding themselves a little bit. Baker Mayfield didn't look too hot, I will say that, on his Monday night game this week. But I think that it's going to be a really good game. I'm looking forward to watching it. And those 3 games are my games of the week. So looking at a couple lines this week. My first line that I want to say is very sketchy, and a game that I want to stay as far away from as possible will be the Titans versus the Jaguars. And the Titans are favored -2 right now. And personally, to me, I think that that's probably the right line. There's just a lot going on with these teams. I told you guys last week, the Titans can't beat the Colts. And we were on the Colts. The Colts won outright. And it was not the, I guess, most popular pick. But sometimes the most popular picks aren't the picks that win. And I tried to warn everyone with that. For this game, though, I feel like the Jaguars, Minshew, he's been playing pretty good. They had a chance to beat the Texans last week. They went for 2 and ran the ball with Fournette for the 2-point conversion when I thought they probably should have passed, and had a real good chance to win that game against the Texans last week. Gardner Minshew has been pretty good. The Titans, we don't really know which Marcus Mariota we're going to receive each and every week, so that's kind of the sketchy side of the Titans. They have a pretty good defense so far this year. Derrick Henry has looked pretty good so far this year. So that game is just a lot of question marks that I'm not ready to commit to with that game. Some of the lines this week are very large, to say the least. The Cowboys. We've hammered the Cowboys 2 weeks in a row. This is not a week that we're going to be on the Cowboys. If I had to pick, I would probably pick the Cowboys. The Dolphins are very bad. I didn't know they were that bad. I knew they were bad, but I didn't know they were that bad. And what they did against the Patriots last weekend, just downright embarrassing, disrespectful to the league and to the fans and to the players. That is just awful. This week, I do think the Cowboys will probably destroy the Dolphins again. Will they cover? I don't know. I wouldn't be on that game regardless. And then another game that has a really steep steep asking price is the Jets. They're getting 23 points against the Patriots. I personally think that is too many points to be giving a Jets team that isn't. They're bad. They're on their third string quarterback. Fulton didn't look too bad. I will say that. I think he actually is probably better than Trevor Siemian. And I feel like that's too many points to give a Jets team with Le'Veon Bell, with a decent defense, that especially if they have Mosley and Quinnen Williams. I especially think that they are going to be inside that 23 mark against the Patriots if those guys are healthy. If I had to pick, I would be leaning towards the Jets in that game. The Patriots have to have somewhat a normal average game eventually this year. It could be this game. So those are two lines that are very big, very large, and I would stay away from them. Wouldn't do anything with them. If I had to pick, I would take the Jets getting 23 points. And then, the moment of the video that you all are here for, I'm going to give my official plays of the week. I do like a lot of these lines this week. I do feel like there is some value this week in these plays. And you will see as I have picked some of these plays, they may not be what you think that I would go with. I have been taking a lot of favorites and a lot of people that are giving points. This week, we are taking a lot of teams that are getting points. It's all about the value. It's all about where you receive it and what week you are looking at, opponents, matchups. There's a lot that goes into it. So my first play of the week is going to be the Lions plus 6.5 against the Eagles. I feel like the Eagles are very good. They'll probably win that game. I do think the Lions keep it somewhat close, though. The Eagles are missing 2 of their wide receivers right now. They really haven't established a running back in that offense. Carson Wentz did not look amazing in his game this past weekend. So a lot of that is going into this. The Lions defense haven't looked that bad. They're now 1-0-1 with a tie against the Cardinals. And they just came off a pretty good win, if I must say. So Stafford's looked well. Kerryon Johnson has looked pretty good. Marvin Jones and Kenny Golladay. They have some weapons. I think that they're okay, and I think that the Eagles win this game by a field goal. By a field goal. 6.5 points. Too many points in this game. So give me the Lions plus 6.5. Another game that I want to look at is the Falcons plus 1.5. I feel personally that this is a good spot to hit on the Falcons. I wasn't necessarily all in on them last week against the Eagles, but this week I feel like it's a good spot. Going to Indianapolis, it'll be indoors, so that won't really be a problem. I feel like this is a letdown spot for the Colts. Matt Ryan definitely was hooking up with Cooper hooking up with Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley. So, feel like they're trying to figure their way out. Give me the Falcons plus 1.5. This is a letdown spot for the Colts, and they're going to go 1-2 after this game. The Falcons are going to go 2-1. Another game that I want to look at is the Steelers getting 6.5 points. I feel like that's too many points for this Steelers team. I feel like, yes, Big Ben is out. Mason Rudolph looked really good when he came into the game last week. They didn't really miss a beat. I think James Conner, if he's healthy, he's going to have a big game. Juju Smith is going to have a big game. Vance McDonald, Mason Rudolph found him twice for touchdowns once Big Ben went out. So I do like the Steelers in this spot. I feel like the 49ers are getting a lot of value. At the beginning of the season, I don't think there was any way that we could have looked at this spot and thought that the 49ers would be giving 6.5 to the Steelers at home. I get it. The 49ers have looked great. Their running backs have been great. Jimmy G has been pretty good. I think that's too many points. If the 49ers win, good for them, but it's not going to be by more than 6.5 points. So give me the Steelers, 6.5. Another game that I want to look at is the Browns getting 3 points. I think the Browns are still one of the better teams in the NFL. I feel like this is a letdown spot for the Rams, just coming off a big win against the Saints. I feel like it's a pretty big game for the Browns and must-win game, essentially. I do think that they go in to their home field, take advantage of it. It's going to be a night game, Sunday Night Football, prime-time game, and the Browns are going to get the outright win against the Rams. It's just me. I think that's what's going to happen. We will see, but that is an official play. And then I'm going to hit a wounded team right now and pick against the Saints. Give me the Seahawks giving 4 points against the Saints. The Seahawks have looked really good. Chris Carson's looked really good. Russell Wilson, my favorite player, as you all know, has looked really good. DK Metcalf and Russell Wilson have really had a really good connection so far, and I feel like it's just going to get better for them. Their defense has been strong as well. So I like the Seahawks in this spot against the Saints, giving 4 points. I think that's okay, and I think they win by a touchdown at least. Give me the Seahawks. And a couple of my leans that I want to talk about, the Buccaneers -6.5. I think that's a pretty solid play this week. New York Giants and Daniel Jones' first start as a professional quarterback, a rookie, traveling. Buccaneers defense has been pretty good. So I think that's a good spot if you're going to buy on the Buccaneers. Now is the time to do it. They just came off of a huge win that I was on the Bucs, and I told you all for that Thursday night game last week, take the Bucs. I think the Buccaneers, this is another really good spot to get them. Daniel Jones is going to have a tough time against a pretty good defense this year, and he's still going to be trying to figure his way out. Take the Bucs -6.5. That's a lean. The Texans getting 3.5 points. That's another lean for me against the Chargers. And then my last official play will be the Bears on Monday Night Football, giving 4 points against the Redskins. It's a similar situation to last week when we were looking at the Cowboys. It was a 4-point spread against this same Redskins team, and I told you all this is a stinky line. It kind of smells, and that's the same thing with this game. Another game against the Redskins. Don't make this harder than it actually is. Take the Bears 4 points. They're going to win that by a touchdown at least. The Bears have to figure it out. They just snuck through and won that last game on that 53-ish yard field goal, I believe, at the end of the game. This is a game you want to take the Bears. So those are my official plays. I will go back over them one more time really quickly. But first, I want to tell you some of my outright underdogs that I would take a stab at. Maybe a little money line on it. The Browns, the Texans, and the Steelers, I think all three of those teams are money line winners for you that are underdogs. I wouldn't be surprised if all three of those teams won. This is a good week to take these teams. And again, my official plays for this week, the Lions +6.5, Falcons +1.5, the Steelers +6.5, the Seahawks -4, the Browns +3, and then the Bears -4. Like I said, I'm picking a lot of teams getting points, and I really like these spots this week. We'll see how we do. My leans that I gave you were the Buccaneers -6.5, and then the Texans -3.5. So I hope you guys hit these with me, and hope we all win. And I do feel pretty confident about these plays. We'll see what happens. That's part of it. And we'll see you next week. Thanks for tuning in. Tomorrow, we will have our college football picks coming out, so be sure to come back for that. If you're new to the channel again, make sure to subscribe if you like what you see, and we'll be back. Peace.